So I just came home from the farmer's market. I went in the house and changed. I laid down for a second. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But then I went in, ahead and changed my clothes so that I can come out here and mow the lawn. My riding mower is still not, the blades still aren't working. So I'm gonna have to push. This is a lot of yard to push, so I don't think I'm gonna get done today. But it's overcast still from raining earlier. So I'd rather do it today than wait until it's like a whole lot of sun outside. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna bore y'all. I might just have the camera roll for a second. And then I'll cut it and come back and talk to you about some things that I learned my first day at the farmer's market. So I came over here because I saw a bunch of eggs of some sort on this plant. Well, first I saw this. And then I said, wait a minute. Something's eating my stuff. There's a bunch of eggs all over here. And then I found them. So, and guess where they're going? To the chickens. Okay. So I just only did the back because I have a large yard and I don't think I'm gonna be able to do even half in this little bitty time. Let me see if I might just scoot it up a little bit. There we go. Whoop! Bloopers. No, I'm keeping it in there. All right, I'm kind of on an incline, so I'm not gonna lean back. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and pay the guy to come back out and cut the front and all over there. But I did want to get the part that I don't really want him to drive up in with his mower, because last time he cut my tree, I asked him to be careful and he cut my apple tree down. But I get it. It's a lot of twists and turns and obstacles in the way. It's my yard, so I'm okay with stopping, getting off the lawnmower or stopping the lawnmower and moving things around. So, but it's not his yard and he's not paid to do that. So I get it. So I went ahead and just mowed this part down nice and low. And then I'm gonna get him to come and do the rest. I couldn't do it. It's been a long day and my allergies are now acting up because of that, because of the little bit of grass that I cut. It's been a long day. We got up at 6 o'clock. I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. I woke the kids up at about 6:30 because we had to be at the farmer's market by 7:30, and of course I was late. You know, you think that you got everything planned out like perfectly, and then with kids it just doesn't work. So I showed up at like 7:50 at the farmer's market, and you know, it was time. Luckily, so this is my very first time being a vendor at a farmer's market. I have done vending events with like craft stuff, like craft events, and all other small events in the past when I was making jewelry and stuff. But something to the scale of, you know, having a commitment for a season and something that's like pretty much established. I mean, they've been there for years. I had never done before. And I am a perfectionist. So I like to do everything in excellence. So there were so many things that I could have taken and I didn't, because I wanted to have the experience first. And it was also the first time me trying to get the kids together and go with me, because they never went with me. They went to like one event before, but it wasn't Number one, I didn't have the twins. This was years ago. And it wasn't so much going on. So, but anyway, I'm gonna have to take some allergy medicine. So I didn't have the same all of my stuff because I wanted to make sure that I understood how the layout was going to be, how the people were going to walk around and move, what other people their setups are, because I've never sold produce either, or plants, or things of that nature. I've always had jewelry displays, and so it's a little bit different, and I just wanted to get so I took some tomato plants, the larger ones in the larger pots, in the half-gallon pots, I think, and I took my waste beads and my eggs, and I almost, like, by 8:30, I'm gonna say by 9 o'clock, I had sold all but like 4 cartons of eggs. I can't even remember how many dozen we took. It was probably about 15 dozen. So I sold a lot of the eggs almost immediately. I think everybody really liked the pictures that the girls drew on there, so I'm gonna make that a thing. I do think, because a lot of times when the people came up, like I had one customer who's actually a friend, thanks Sharanda for coming through. She came and she knew I had eggs, so she didn't have to see them to know that I had eggs. The other customers that bought eggs, they didn't know I had eggs. In fact, I think they just kind of was looking at the table, and I had to go and open up the lid to show that it was eggs, because all they saw was the artwork. So I got to do something a little bit different with that. Maybe have a sign that says farm fresh eggs. These are things that I wanted to learn by experiencing it, to help me in the future, because I want to do this for not just this year. Like, this is the thing that I want to do even when I get my larger land. I just enjoy the farmers market as a whole. I broke even mainly because I bought things too. I think that would be the hardest part about working the farmers market, is me not spending the money that I'm making. So that was kind of like, I didn't actually break even, because if I think about it, the money that I spent today actually paid for the whole season, because I committed to the whole season. So I don't have to pay again for my table. So I broke even in a sense that I actually made the amount of money that I spent for the whole season. So now every time I go back, it's all profit. But my point is, it was an awesome experience. I didn't take everything, but I took enough that I actually made some money. And I now have so many ideas of how I want to do things. I'm going to have to solve the transportation part if I'm going to be taking the kids with me, which they actually enjoyed themselves. It was a little dreary and cold, but they played on the playground. They enjoyed themselves. So I do want to take, at first I originally was like, I'm not going to take them with me, but I think I am going to take them with me. So I gotta solve how am I going to transport all of my stuff, while having the kids in the vehicle with me and all my seats up. Because I can't expect for my mom to come every weekend with me to transport things or transport the kids. So that is going to be something I'll have to get creative with, because I don't have a trailer. And even if I had a trailer, I'm gonna just be honest, y'all, I haven't gotten to the point where I know how to drive with a trailer. I just don't. I try to back up with the trailer on the back of my lawnmower, and I mean, it frustrates me so much that I'll just take the trailer off just so that I can turn around and then put the trailer back on. So don't judge me. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get me a nice strapping man that knows how to do it. Whatever. I'm joking. I'm not even in that mindset right now. But I do want to, grow as the season goes on, continue to grow and perfect this thing. So that was my experience. I wanted to take I wanted to film some content while I was there, but I needed to take in the experience. And then I had, people coming to my table and talking to me, and I don't want to have a camera in their face or my phone in their face. So I decided against it. I took a small moment to step back and, record a little something. But, and then in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it here. I even kind of took the camera and panned around a little bit so that you could see kind of how, and it's one of those things where you gotta be there to get the full experience, but I did kind of want to show you what I could. I met some very nice people. I learned a whole lot. I got the feel for the experience, and that was really the goal for today, was to get the feel for the experience, to learn from those who have been. I met one lady. She has been selling her plants there for 10 years, I think she said. She sold herbs that she started and house plants that she starts in her greenhouse. And I got a chance to speak to her, and I really enjoyed our conversation. I also met a couple. The wife I didn't talk to this time. I talked to her at the meeting, but the husband, who I didn't talk to at the meeting that we went to, but we talked today. They have a lot more land than me, but it's kind of doing the same thing. And we talked about, because I'm trying to solve this fencing thing. I got 2 quotes on fencing, and they were a few months apart, but when I say that it doubled from the first one to the second one, and the crazy thing was the cost doubled, but originally I was looking for a privacy fence, and then I kind of downgraded to like a few posts that you stretch wire around, and the price still doubled for less work or material. And so I was like, wow, I don't think I'm going to be able to pay someone to fence in this yard anytime soon. So we were talking about things that I could do to kind of stretch the fence myself, which it was stuff that I already knew I could possibly do. I'm pretty handy. But time is my biggest enemy right now. I don't know when I will get a chance to do something like that because I have such a large space. But some of the tricks that he talked to me about, because he had somewhat of a similar situation, and he's saying how they had a lot of deer. But anyway, so I got a chance to speak to these very nice people that have been doing this for a while. And I actually had some moments where I taught them something, so that was exciting as well. I didn't get a chance to promote the channel as much. On my banner, it has a QR code that links directly to my YouTube channel, but I didn't have a way of hanging it because when we went to the meeting, they told me that I couldn't screw into the wood. So I saw how some people have their banners. There's some areas that already have screws, but I wanted to be next to an outlet for a number of reasons. I just never know when I'm going to want to take something that I need to plug up. And then like today, I needed to charge all of my stuff because I didn't do it last night in my mad rush to get stuff done. So I don't have a space, and this is going to be my space for the whole season. I don't have a space that has the nails already there that I can hang my banner on. So I saw someone and they had some bungee cords. I mean, like, just the ideas that people came up with to make their space awesome was amazing. And I'm gonna steal some of those ideas, and I have no problem with it because, this is just, I feel like this is just where we need to, I was talking to another person and we were talking about how things are just going in the world right now and how we need to get back to, but a lot of people don't, like, there's some things that I was able to teach some people who've been doing this for years, and then vice versa, and that should be how it is. I love the idea of us coming together as a community and learning from each other. So I'm going to steal it, and I hope they're okay with it. But I also know one thing, the biggest lesson I learned from today at the farmer's market was I cannot assume what the customers want. So I took those tomato plants because everybody likes tomatoes, and a lot of people like to put tomatoes in containers on their back patio and stuff that maybe they don't have the space to grow them. And And I did sell some of my tomatoes, but a lot of people were looking for marigolds. And I have a lot of marigold starts. And I have almost a half of a tray of marigold starts. But I assumed that nobody there was going to want to buy my marigold starts. They don't have heads on them yet, or flowers on them yet. So that was one of the reasons why I wasn't pressed to take them. But I talked to a lady and she said, everybody wants marigolds and nobody has them. And I thought, wow. Because you can tell, like, they don't have flowers on them. But if anybody who knows what marigolds look like, you can tell by the greenery that they're marigolds. So she said, you should have brought them. You just can't assume. And I had to, and that was a hard pill to swallow. Also, I had some smaller plants, and I assumed that they would like the larger plants more because I didn't sell them they weren't very much. Like, I didn't say, oh, now these are so much bigger, so I'm going to go up on my price by so much. I didn't do that. Everybody that walked past was like, oh, these are beautiful, because some of them already had some blossoms on them, and they're very big. Well, not very big, but they're not just seedlings. But a lot of people liked I saw other people selling theirs, and they were the teeny tiny ones. I have some of those. I just thought that someone would want one that was further along, but maybe not. So that was a big takeaway from today, is not assuming I know what everybody wants, because everybody doesn't think like me. So I know next week I'm going to take those marigolds, and I might even try to start some more. They're not going to be ready to go by next week, I'm sure, but to just have every week that I go back some marigolds might not be a bad thing. Same thing with some tomato plants. There were some people asked me for specific tomato heirloom plants that I know I have started in the past, but because I was dealing with limited space, because my garden isn't as big as it's going to be, and I wanted to make sure I grew the things that I knew I was going to use, I didn't start those. And I could have, because I could have just sold the starts. And I was like, darn, I had that last year in my garden, but not this year. So, learning experience. It was an amazing learning. I visited farmers markets, and still I learned so much just being there all day. And it felt, I thought I was going to be like, oh God, I'm going to be here all day. Because technically I would be there from 7:30 to 12:30, with no sleep the night before. I did a sister lock install, and if anybody on this channel knows what a sister lock install is, it's an all-day process. I did a sister lock install yesterday. So I did someone's hair for hours yesterday, came home, fed my kids, and immediately started prepping things. I washed those 10 to 15 dozen eggs all yesterday. I potted up those larger plants because they were still in the little plastic cups. Most of them were. I did have some already potted up, but most of them I did last night. Like, I was up until midnight last night and then got up at 6. So I was like, oh, this is going to just be the worst experience, being there all day, and then also knowing that I didn't take a whole lot of things with me. But I will say that I sincerely and genuinely enjoyed myself, even when I was just sitting there and watching people. A couple of times I turned on my YouTube because I'm the type of person where if I'm just sitting still and not doing anything, I get antsy or anxious. So I just had it like playing in my AirPod, but I was watching people. I was speaking to people. I walked around to the different tables. And I really, really enjoyed myself, and the time flew by. Like, it actually, the first hour I was like, oh my God, it's only 9 o'clock. But I think that was just because I was so amped up, and it felt like I had did a whole lot already. But it wasn't bad at all, and I am excited to continue to do this. So that is my takeaway from today. I hope I didn't bore you all with so much talk. If you've made it to this point in the video, I do want to say thank you so much. That is a wasp nest up under here. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, y'all, be blessed.